up, Tzu Chi holds a free clinic in Sri Lanka's Hambantota to help the needy. And in Taiwan, we see how with a change of thought, life can still be beautiful for a brother peer in Miaoli. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. We kick off today's program in Sri Lanka. Following the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, Tzu Chi Foundation arrived in the hard-hit area of Hambantota in southern province to carry out short to long-term relief work. It was then that the organization's seed of love was planted in the heart of a local volunteer, Dr. Sugit, who back then was just in high school and could only help by assisting at free clinics. Today, the doctor conducts free clinics for impoverished residents in Hambantota to pass on the love he once received to those in greater need.
Growing their own herbal roots, team member Dr. Sugath of Sri Lanka teaches local volunteers how to prepare and mix the ingredients together. This time, the free clinic is directed at low-income families who suffer from arthritis, and the medicine they used were the ones volunteers grew themselves.
Now I use the herbal medicine the doctors gave me, and my legs don't hurt anymore when I walk. I'm really grateful to the Tzu Chi Foundation.
The residents have illnesses, but they don't have the money to see a doctor. Thus, through these valuable free clinics, the villagers can get the help they need.
Walking the Tzu Chi path and helping patients in need has been a dream of Dr. Sugath. Looking back at the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, when Tzu Chi started holding free clinics for remote villages and disaster victims, one saw a younger Dr. Sugath assisting Tzu Chi volunteers. Now he finally has the ability to cure illnesses.
I like to help people, and I'm happy that now I can apply what I've learned to assist those who are sick.
Opening a clinic in Hambantota district, Dr. Sugath does not forget to spread Tzu Chi's idea of saving a little a day to help others during his patient visits. He also plans to hold monthly free clinics in this area as he continues to safeguard the health of care recipients and DaAi villagers alike.
Moving to Taiwan, dialysis treatment cost our national health insurance 30 billion NT dollars each year. However, it is also the only way to survive for those with kidney disease. Today, we meet a dialysis patient, Zhang Guanghui, who was only 34 when he first began dialysis treatment. At that time, Zhang's second child has just been born, and he was unable to come to terms with his illness. After trying folk methods for 10 months, Zhang finally decided to receive dialysis treatment and realized it was not the end of the world. Here's more.
I had no idea why my life became like this. I was supposed to be healthy and had a bright future ahead. I was married and my child had just been born. I felt like it was supposed to be a happy family life, but then I suddenly became ill and I realized all the happiness was gone.
Zhang Guanghui's thoughts are mirrored by many others receiving dialysis treatments. Zhang was only 34 when he began receiving dialysis treatments.
I had red blood cells in my urine. I remember my colleague told me that I should watch out if that happened, and that I might need dialysis treatment. I was young at that time, so I didn't take it seriously. The doctor later told me that I had chronic kidney disease, and after visiting a few clinics, the doctor said I only had 10% of my kidney function left, and I would need dialysis treatment in 6 months' time. You know, at that time, my second child was just 1 month old.
Unable to come to terms with his illness, Zhang Guanghui began searching for folk treatment methods and took herbal medication as well. After 10 months of trying, Zhang eventually gave in and realized he has to undergo dialysis treatment.
Later on, I started to think if there was really a cure, there wouldn't be so many people receiving dialysis treatment. I think it was the lunar month of July in 1991, and I was lying on the bed thinking that the ghosts were there to take me away. That came to mind because when I got home, everyone was celebrating the Pudu festival. I felt like it was the end. All my family and friends went around trying to find a cure for me, but the answer was the same. I had to receive dialysis treatment.
大家都去四处去问啊，用麦洗肾嘛，然后结果答案都说一定要洗。
Since then, Zhang began visiting the hospital for a 4-hour dialysis treatment every second day after work. With his health condition now improving and also having met Tzu Ji, the man now sees his illness in a different light.
I saw many people who were in a less fortunate situation, and through these home visitations, I realized if I continue with my treatment, I can still do a lot of things. I was on a 2-month leave when I first got ill, and after I went back, I found I can still work like I did before.
In a blink of an eye, 22 years has gone by since Zhang Guanghui first began receiving dialysis treatment. Thanks to his doctors and Tzu Ji, Zhang's life remains bright. Renowned Israeli musician and Tzu Ji volunteer David Dio recently carried out a charity concert in Taipei, Taiwan. The singer's Jewish faith does not hinder his participation in cross-religion activities and always take the audience by storm with his amazing vocal range. Let's take a look.
Singing Amazing Grace, David Dior's voice pierces through the heart of each audience members and lifts their spirits. And his Phantom of the Opera performance has the audience on the edge of their seats. At the end, the Tzu Ji song turns into a sing-along as concert-goers join in the chorus.
I prefer not to count the times that I'm coming to Taiwan, because I feel that Taiwan is like my second home.
With this latest performance in Taipei, Dior joined conductor David Eaton and the Evergreen Symphony Orchestra as they held a charity concert at the National Theatre Concert Hall to raise funds to benefit others and let love spread to all corners.
Also in Taiwan, the government of New Taipei City recently held a filial piety seminar, which showed a DaAi TV mini-drama featuring the story of Dong Hui. Many audience members were moved to tears when watching this film, and DaAi TV's third drama department manager and a cast member also joined the event to remind everyone to carry out their filial duties.
Dong Hui is from Yuli, Hualien County. She gave up her own dreams to take care of her ailing parents, so her younger sister can pursue her dreams.
In carrying out filial duties, it has to be right in the moment. Dong Hui also expressed the joy of having her parents in her life. She never complained about her parents making her ashamed or sorrowful. She's glad to have such a mom and would hug her and say, "Mom, I'm glad you're in my life."
Dong's life story was made into a DaAi mini-drama. Her family, although not rich financially, is rich spiritually at heart.
We want to remind everyone fulfilling filial duties cannot wait, so we found the most inspiring story from our archives and thought Dong Hui's story would be a good example to share, as she was also the recipient of the 2010 Filial Award.
Dong is currently working at Yuli Tzu Ji Hospital, as it's close to where her family lives.
For me, happiness is waking up every day and seeing smiles on my family's face and eating breakfast together.
In our next report, we see how little things can make a difference as we learn the story of Jing and his handicapped brother. Originally from a remote village in the mountains of Miaoli, Taiwan, Jing left his hometown to be a hairstylist in Taipei. However, he later returned to take care of his brother who has cerebral palsy. The 24-hour care that was required soon exhausted Jing and his resources. Just as he was approaching his breaking point, Miaoli city volunteers showed up to help and took the pair under its wing. Now 10 years on, Jing and his brother are still city care recipients as volunteers continue to serve and be inspired by the brothers.
He will crawl up and down, and it makes me very worried and nervous. And he has a lot of trouble sleeping.
Sleeping beside his brother, Jing looks after his brother 1,400 minutes, 24 hours a day.
When he points here, I know he needs to urinate. When he points to the back, I know he needs to defecate. When he points to his head, I know that his head hurts and he needs to drink this. When he points to his stomach, that means he is hungry. We have a good communication going.
The younger brother suffers from cerebral palsy, while Jing suffers from high blood pressure.
Once when I was eating his food, I feel really dizzy. His stomach is different than others. If his stomach cramps up, he will vomit out his nasogastric tube.
With cramps and trouble sleeping, the nights are long for both brothers.
If I sleep, he sometimes defecates here and he stays there till the morning. The entire bed gets wet and he will be very uncomfortable.
It is this love and attention that brought Jing back home from his successful career in Taipei.
Once I became a hairstylist, I came back from Taipei to Taiwan with the idea of opening up my own salon. I also came back to fulfill my promise to my father to take care of my brother. Without me, there's no one to take care of him, so I left my job.
Now 51, Jing takes care of his 38-year-old brother full-time.
Sometimes he feels like he is at his wit's end, but with everyone's encouragement, he continues on and has become more and more willing to do so.
Now off cigarettes, Jing decorated his home with the old boxes.
I feel that the wall was really dirty, so I pasted them on the wall. It also keeps away the mosquitoes, as they don't like the smell of tobacco. But mainly it is there to remind us of the love of Tzu Chi and that we should be thankful for it. He will listen and after he will point to his heart or mind, and that means I know, I have heard. The master is really great.
With love, no task is too heavy or hard.
Before our father passed away, he told me that whatever I have in this life, I need to give half of it to my brother. Then and there, I promised my father that in this lifetime, my brother and I will be together, and that I will care for him until my last breath.
Capturing Tzu Chi's footprints of love in history using words and imagery are a group of selfless media volunteers. In 1989, the first Tzu Chi writers group was established, and as there weren't many volunteers at the time, friends called on friends to join. With just a pen and their own cameras, many inspiring stories came to light. In 1996, the Tzu Chi Media Volunteers Association was established, and in 2003, a team to combine imagery, manuscript and audiovisual was created, and finally in 2006 the team was renamed as the Tzu Chi Media Team. Now wherever Tzu Chi volunteers go, media volunteers will be there behind the scenes, capturing all the goodness and compassion of this world.
She was born into a poor family in the countryside. Since she was 6-7 years old, she has had to learn to cook and do household chores. She makes her meager income working as a maid and saved every hard-earned penny for her parents.
Each article holds some 20 years of history. Chen Mei-yi recalls the days when she traveled across the country in search of hopeful talents who were willing to put down on paper society's inspiring stories. Chen began to set up classes to pass down her knowledge and expertise.
Those from our generation who can still pick up a pen and write should capture all the goodness in people and in society, so that our future generations are reminded of the goodness of Taiwan society. This was a preview to inform all the readers that I was going to begin a column here.
In May of 1988, Chen began a column which reported on the inspiring real-life stories of Tzu Chi volunteers. In the following year, the Tzu Chi Writers Group was established, followed by the Tzu Chi Companion magazine. The volunteers' articles became regular submissions and paved the way for the publication of some great books, notably A Paradise Beyond the Pure Land.
There is only one of them left, Lin Ye. The rest of them have all passed away. Had we not put their story to paper, the tales of these leprosy patients would have been left untold.
Merely preserving these stories was not enough. Imagery was needed to pinpoint each story. Carrying a camera and in control of the entire movement of the room, Lu Guishu has been at his post for 24 years now.
When I returned from Saudi Arabia, one of my former classmates invited me to take pictures at Tzu Chi's events. He said since I enjoy taking pictures, I should help out.
With a sense of commitment, volunteers were always present at events big or small, ready to capture stories which were later broadcasted on the World of Tzu Chi via the then Rebar YouTube channel.
We didn't understand anything in the beginning. We just filmed what we could, and we would send a 2-hour-long video to DaAi TV, and they were often stunned when they saw our videos.
In 1996, the Tzu Chi Media Volunteers Association was established. In order to strengthen professional and technical skills, training seminars were run on a regular basis. Lu Guishu, one of the earliest media volunteers of Taoyuan district, was often seen at the front lines, carrying a video camera on his shoulders, recording each moment of Tzu Chi's history.
Mr. Zheng Yan wanted us to chronicle the progress of Tzu Chi's missions. Using video or imagery, society can see what volunteers have been doing throughout their communities. And all this is really to help the needy and disadvantaged.
In 2003, a team to combine imagery, manuscripts, and audiovisual was created. At that time, what Master Zheng Yan said served as an encouragement that has lasted till this day. The Master hopes that all media volunteers can serve as a witness for this era, to account for Tzu Chi's history and establish Tzu Chi's great treasure of sutras. Those were the 3 things Master Zheng Yan told us to do 10 years ago in 2003. In 2006, under the inspiration of Master Zheng Yan, the group was officially renamed the Tzu Chi Media Team, in the hopes that Tzu Chi volunteers may serve as an example for all.
When we're working at our post, others are also watching our actions. As a team, the driving force is in promoting Tzu Chi's truth, goodness and beauty. We have to demonstrate our humanitarianism. How we portray ourselves speaks louder than words.
10 years now, there are more than 5,000 Tzu Chi media volunteers across the world. With their pens and through their lenses, they capture the love and mutual assistance which exists in our world. And their dedication and commitment is a fountain of purity which flows through this era of great change.
Next, we meet a family of media volunteers, all of whom were inspired by Luo Hanbang to join the Buddhist NGO. Since he was young, Luo has been interested in photography and devoted himself to improving his photography skills. 10 years ago, Luo joined the ranks of media volunteers and used his camera to capture Tzu Chi's work of love. His long-term devotion has also inspired his family members to follow his footsteps.
This is my mother, Chao Shenping. She is responsible for transcribing and writing. This is my uncle Luo Hanbang. He is 1.9 meters tall and is a cameraman. This is my other uncle Luo Jinlun. He is calm and focuses on taking pictures. I'm Luo Bingxi, 20 years old, a rookie photographer. The reason why I'm interested in photography is because of my father, Luo Handin. He does not have many opportunities to practice his skills, so I would teach him how to improve his skill in framing based on my own experience. When I was young, a family member gave me a camera which was made in Japan. Back then, I had no idea about photography, and I didn't know where I could get the information on it because the internet wasn't as popular as nowadays. I remember I often took the train of the Danshui line and took photos along the way. I thought that practicing is the best way to learn. Later, I compared my photos with the work of professional photographers to discover my problems. These are my collections. I like to take public transportation and took photos along the journey, like taking the train to Keelung and then transferring to Badouzi. These photos and films are well kept, but I plan to digitalize them. There are at least 150 albums. Taking photos is a way to record beautiful things, with each photo telling a different story. The people in the photos tell their own life stories, which will touch your heart in some way or another. The best thing about working as a media volunteer is that I can quickly learn of other people's life stories, which always inspire me to carry on my mission. Before, I wasn't an easygoing person. I didn't allow my family to touch my stuff, including my camera. Tzu Chi teaches us to show our love without delay, so I have changed for the better. Sometimes, men are much more reserved when it comes to showing their emotion.
I joined Tzu Chi before my husband. However, now he is more devoted than me.
My brother used to be a silent person, but now he is more energetic.
To my father, photography is not only an interest, but also a way to help more people.
After each volunteer training seminar, we hold a family gathering to deal with family arguments.
I'm thankful to Tzu Chi for uniting our family. Taking advantage of each volunteer work, our family has seized an opportunity to work together. I think this is the most wonderful thing to being a member of the Tzu Chi family.
We go to the United States at the end of today's program. The last seminar for this year's Media Volunteer Basic Training Program successfully concluded at the Tzu Chi US headquarters in San Dimas, California. 32 Tzu Chi volunteers shared with each other of their experiences and all vowed to devote themselves in spreading the truth, goodness and beauty. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.